Hey, welcome to Cheaper Jeeper TV, the show that helps you get the most for your money so that you get the most for your Jeep. In this week's episode, we're going to look at how to adjust your headlights. Stick around. Whether you put on a lift or maybe the factory settings aren't right, adjusting the headlights would be a good thing to do, especially if you find yourself getting flashed by other drivers. It's not just that your LED headlights are super bright. It could be that they're just not adjusted properly. That's why in this week's episode, after having put on the lift and the larger tires, we're going to adjust the angle of our front headlights. Let's have a look at how it's done. The only tools you'll need is a roll of masking tape, a long number 2 Phillips screwdriver, and a tape measure. And the next thing you need to do is find some flat pavement against a bare wall at nighttime. Any bare wall. The first thing you would do is use your tape measure and determine where the 3-foot mark is on the wall and mark that with your masking tape. Do it in front of the driver's side light and then the passenger side light. And then for good measure, you can run a length of masking tape between those two pieces. Now your next step would be to measure a length of 25 feet from the wall. And once you've got that, it's time to back up the Jeep to that mark. And that's it. It's time to get under the hood to adjust the headlights. Here you see in daylight the passenger side headlight, and just behind the light and in front of the airbox, if you look down below, you'll see a white plastic ring, and that's the adjustment screw. Now on the driver's side, it's a little more difficult to locate, but you can see the 2 sensor pins with the blue bases there. Just beneath that, behind the driver's side light, you could see the white plastic ring. As we go down a little closer, you could see how the Phillips screwdriver goes in the hole. And when you put the Phillips screwdriver in that hole and turn counterclockwise, that will lower the beam of your headlight. And once you've lowered the passenger side light to the 3-foot mark that you left with your masking tape, it's time to do the driver's side. I put an extra line on this frame to help you visualize it, and very slowly you begin to see how the driver's side light is beginning to go downward. I chose to go a little bit below the tape marks. Let's have a closer look in this shot. This shot shows the nice even line of the headlights, and don't forget to remove the tape from the wall. And that's all there is to adjust your headlights. Okay, it's time to go home. You know, that was surprisingly easy. So if you find yourself in a position on needing to adjust your headlights, now you know what to do. And now, let's look at our tip segment. Now for some cheaper Jeeper tips. In this week's tip, I just would suggest that you don't just end your headlight adjustment there. Take it out on the street and see where that line of your headlight is hitting other cars, either as you're approaching them from behind or as you're crossing in front of you at an intersection. Because if that line of light is above the body of the car, it means it's getting into the eyes of the other drivers, and that could create an unsafe situation. So my tip would be, after you've adjusted the headlights, be cognizant of where that line of the light is when you're out in traffic, and be open to doing some final adjustments. Now that you know, it's pretty easy to do. So if you found this video on how to adjust your headlights helpful, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and alert bell so you don't miss our next video. So now let's hear from our subscribers.
And now for subscribers tips.
This week's subscriber tip comes from our Jeep Camping Sleeping Platform series of videos. Hey Jeeper TV, an additional amount of weight reduction could be realized by drilling a pattern of holes in each piece of plywood used for the platform. This would still allow for all pieces used to maintain their strength for their intended use. This would allow for better ventilation on the mattress material and reduce the potential for mold because of the condensation issue when sleeping in the vehicle. Signed, Dennis. Hey Dennis, thanks for the tip. I think I'm going to do that, and I'll make a follow-up video of some other mods for that sleeping platform. And if you have any subscriber tips, feel free to include them in the comments section below this video because they may be used in a subsequent episode. Hey, that's it for this week's episode of Jeeper TV. We hope you found it helpful. Until the next time, be well, stay safe, take care.